This is Umar for BoxNation. I've taken a break from Scotland v Switzerland, which is on at the moment, and I'm joined by Gareth A Davies. This is going to be going out tomorrow, Gareth, i.e. Thursday, probably during the weigh-in for the BoxNation show on Friday night, which is free on our channel to watch. A stacked card headlined by Kaisy Khademi and Ryan Farrag for the vacant Commonwealth title. And Gareth, you're going to be involved with the presenting and maybe a bit of commentary as well on the night, Gareth.
Yeah, delighted to be asked to be involved, along with yourself, the post-fight interviewer. I think it's your TV debut, or maybe your second bite at the cherry. I think Dev Sani's own Ezra Taylor's working. Delighted to be working with all of them and you for Box Nation at the York Hall, the spiritual East London home of British boxing on Friday night. As you say, that super flyweight Commonwealth Championship on the line. Kaisy Khademi, very fine boxer, 12 3-minute rounds, of course, against Ryan Farrag, who obviously has been a European champion at bantamweight, I think it was, and has only really lost to the big names, Charlie Edwards, or sorry,
Sonny Edwards.
Sonny Edwards, and a little while ago now, Ryan Burnett, who I ran into in Belfast recently, who looks very well indeed, trundling around on his lovely motorbike out there. It's going to be a good fight. The card looks good to me. There's a few names we know, and the Jack McGann's coming back after his loss in Saudi Arabia to Louis Green, shock loss in lots of ways when he was stopped in that fight. Louis Green, absolutely flying that night. I think it's 10 fights on the card, a lot of six rounders, a lot of 50-50 fights. Can't get better than a Friday night at the banging York Hall on Box Nation.
Well said, Gareth. Brilliantly summed up. And a lot of these guys on the undercard, it's a brilliant opportunity. And even Casey and Ryan, if they can pull off a good performance, a good victory, they can manage to get on, the big promoters cards. And this is a good showcase, good opportunity for some of these guys to potentially land on the mega cards.
Yeah, Kane Baker on there as well. What a story he is. Against Istvan Hazeni. Again, 6 rounds, super welterweight. Um, Look, I think for a lot of these guys, they can make a name for themselves. A lot of these events do create opportunities for people to superimpose themselves, if you like, to make a name for themselves, as you say, Umar. And listen, what I'm delighted about is Box Nation's back. You're flying the flag for Box Nation, the YouTube channel, but it's great that these events are now being broadcast on the channel because let's not forget that Frank Warren shifted the paradigm. Is it 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago, he created Box Nation? I think it is.
Longer than that was what we 224.
11 years ago,
Probably. Yeah.
2013. And did what no one else has ever done before in that sense. And when I heard it was resurfacing, being rejuvenated, if you like, and that the YouTube channel, along with the channel itself with broadcasts, was going to come alive again, it just shows what Frank seeded at that time. And Frank's been ahead of his time in lots of different ways. And one of these ways is he's always put on cards where up and comers and guys who are considered journeymen might get their moment in the limelight to shine and, as you say, project themselves onto bigger cards. I'm really looking forward to it because, as you know, you get 6, 7, 800 people in the York Hall. You cannot move. When there's 1,300 in there, you can't even breathe. And it's going to be really, really warm in there on Friday night. So bring a spare shirt and a spare t-shirt, I'd say. Maybe even a little portable fan while you're doing your interviews.
We'll see. I'm not sure I'm going to be carrying a portable fan, but we shall see, Gareth. It's not a bad idea. Um, Obviously, Warren Boxing Management, Frank's nephews are putting this show on. They've got a good stable now, WBM, Alfie, Sonny, Bobby, Freddie, all the guys running that management stable. And yeah, they're doing really well, WBM.
I think what they're doing is getting their ducks in a row. We've obviously got massive cards coming up. We're expecting big announcements next Wednesday, I believe. I think there's a big press conference in London to announce that Wembley card. We don't know the date. Is it the 21st of September? Is it the 28th of September? Is it Anthony Joshua against Daniel Dubois? Is it Hamza Sheeraz against Chris Eubank? Everyone's talk. Is it Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark rematch on the card? Is Mark Chamberlain going to be on the card? Round and around. I've missed someone there as well. Is Joseph Parker going to be on the card? I haven't heard anything about him. Had a small word with Tyson Fury's manager, Spencer Brown, today. He was giving nothing away, though, in fact. So I think they're round the table just finishing these things off. And my point being, while these big cards are being made at the moment, while the big negotiations are going on, as you say, what Warren Boxing Management are just getting their ducks in a row and just making sure that these kind of shows have legs, grow, because it's really important. And you know this, and Frank Warren, who you've grown close to over the last few years and who obviously I've known for a long time, has always insisted that you build that conveyor belt from the bottom up. You start the guys at the very beginning, you pick talent, you stick with it, you believe in them, and then you take them all the way. Look what's happened recently with Willie Hutchinson and Hamza Sheeraz, for example, both on the cusp of great fights, big fights. Look at what's happened for Hamza Sheeraz. He's now an ambassador for Riyadh season. It's enormous. So yeah, it's good times, and you can't have the good times without getting your ducks in a row, as I say. And that's what Frank's always done through thin and thinner, and now through thick and thicker.
Okay, so tune in Friday night for a great card, and as I said,
What
top.
time? 6 p.m.
I believe we're going to go live 6 p.m., but we'll post the links and all the information will be out. 24 hours before the fight night. The link will be out as well. As I said, top by Khademi v Frag for the Commonwealth title,
Is
which is
it true that if one of them drops out, you're going to fight a super middleweight, 12 stone?
oh mate.
And you're a long, rangy southpaw with a very long jab on you and a vicious left hook,
Yeah,
a la Alexander Usyk.
and probably gas and half around, especially in the heat in your call.
Well, I know you're lying because I know you're orthodox and that's not southpaw.
I am orthodox, but yeah, it'd be a terrible watch. So luckily that's not happening. Gareth, just away from Friday night. You mentioned the possibility of Joshua Dubois, and I reiterate it's the possibility, nothing's confirmed, but heavily rumoured. The promoters believe, that is the front runner for Joshua as things stand. Again, nothing confirmed, but I'm just trying to think of outside of Fury Joshua. I'm trying to think of British fights, and I can't think of anything bigger really than Joshua Dubois.
Um, no, I mean it's the richest. Joshua Dubois. I was thinking Joshua and Fury.
No, I said outside of Fury and Joshua, I
Yeah,
can't think of a bigger fight than Joshua Dubois.
outside of that,
Two Brits.
no, there isn't one. You could say if Joe Joyce beats Derek Chisora, Joe Joyce, because he's an Olympic silver medalist, but not he hasn't got the momentum or the run that Dubois has been on. No, it's a very big fight, and there's a massive opportunity for Daniel Dubois. And I think if he takes all the things that he's learned from his last three performances and puts them all together, he's a very dangerous opponent. And he believes he can beat Anthony Joshua. He's a very dangerous opponent for him. I still pick Anthony Joshua as the favourite in this time. Obviously, BoxRec and the WBC see Anthony Joshua as more highly rankable than Tyson Fury at the moment, which we've seen in the last couple of days. I don't get that. But then again, people have made the argument to me. I did something on William Hill about that. I don't agree with that Anthony Joshua should be ranked above Tyson Fury. I'm doing that on ability, but people say, look what he did to Francis Ngannou, look what he did to Otto Wallin, and he didn't get nearly knocked down or didn't have a 10-8 round against. I don't think he had a 10-8 round against Usyk. So
I don't think so.
people,
No.
so people have got their arguments, and obviously BoxRec and the WBC and BoxRec do it on a computerized system. So there you have it. But that's just not what I believe. I still believe that Fury can be the number one heavyweight in the world again on December the 21st. I think he's relishing his opportunity of fighting Alexander Usyk again. That is according to Spencer Brown today. And, you know, it's going to be another enormous event. You know, Christmas is coming early.
If Joshua were to beat Dubois, where does that rank in terms of Anthony's best wins? I'm thinking the Klitschko fight, the Joseph Parker win. Where would Dubois rank?
Um, yeah, round about the same as Joseph Parker, I think. I think it's a similar kind of challenge. They're very different fighters now, Parker and Joshua, of course. Um, I mean, that's a fight I wouldn't mind seeing right now. But I think they can build a storyline more around Joshua and Dubois. I think it's a fight that meets expectation, even though you have to give um, just a caveat there that Joseph Parker against Anthony Joshua would have been viable, and so would Zhili Zhang against Anthony Joshua would have been viable, but wouldn't sell as much in my view. I love the all British clash, um, and you know I love what it potentially leads to, which is I know it's September. Joshua wins in September and Fury wins in December. There's a little bit of a gap there. They're not particularly aligned. I mean, would Joshua want to wait 7, 8 months to fight Fury? I mean, if Fury and Usyk go at it again for 12 rounds, you've got to think that Fury won't be ready till June if he beats Usyk, in my view. Uh, I mean, we're projecting. I'm projecting here, not that. I'm really. I just want to clarify this. The achievements of Alexander Usyk are extraordinary, from Olympic gold medalist to amateur world champion to cleaning up the cruiserweight division to going on the road in that tournament against all those opponents in their countries. You know, against Maris Bradis, against Gvozdyk, against trying to remember all the guys now, against Gassiev, against Bellew in Liverpool, or in Manchester, wherever it was in the end. I think it was in Manchester, wasn't it?
Manchester, MEN, yeah.
But going abroad and winning it all abroad, beating Joshua um, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, then beating him in Saudi, and then beating Fury in Saudi. He's done none of it at home. Even the victory against Dubois was in Poland. It's extraordinary what he's achieved, frankly.
I'm not going to get you to, if you know the answer and what happened in that spar, in that infamous spar between Daniel and Ante. I'm not going to get you to repeat it on camera, but do you actually know what happened?
I think the gym stories should stay as gym stories.
But
You
I'm
know,
asking, do you know what actually happened?
I know the speculation. I know the rumors, and I just think it makes it even more fascinating.
It does. But to be fair, look, Hergovich talked about the sparring with Daniel, and obviously Daniel won that fight. So
Didn't count for much, did it?
no, but it's a good way to sell a fight, I suppose. It will be talked about in the build up to it if it
It's a
does
bit
happen.
like the row over what happened when Joe Joyce and Martin Bacoli sparred. That
Yeah.
won't count for anything if those guys meet in the ring. I'm really looking forward to the announce. Well, I was really excited by the announcement that Martin Bacoli is going to fight Jared Anderson. It immediately got my radar up for this is potentially a great test for Jared Anderson, and it's a great opportunity for Martin Bacoli. I think Jared Anderson will be up to the task. I really do, because I think he'll raise his game because he's got to. I think it'll be fascinating. But it wouldn't surprise me if Bacoli upset the apple cart there. But
Yeah.
I still make Jared Anderson the favourite. There's some great fights coming up. There really are. It's just a shame to hear yesterday that Devin Haney's now walking away for 2 years. Come on, you can't walk away from 2 years of your prime. I mean, is he doing it because Top Rank won the purse bid?
Well, I mean, he said he's going to take a break from boxing. Whether he actually does, I'm not sure. Top Rank were the only bidders, so they won that. that purse with Sandor Martin. But look, from Devin's perspective, I guess he's been fighting for mega money recently. To fight for less than, well, it'd be about a million and a half dollars to fight Sandor Martin in a relatively low profile fight. From his
Huge pay
perspective,
cut for him. That's all it's
yeah,
about.
I get it from him, but a purse bid is a purse bid, and that's what reflects your market value, I suppose.
Should Eddie Hearn have bid on that? But he's a free agent now, though, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a free agent. So I mean, if he was with Eddie, that would be a bit different. If you signed someone and they didn't bid, but he's not with Eddie, so Eddie doesn't have to bid.
Mm, mm. Fascinating things at the weekend as well, by the way. I thought the way that Tank Davis is now carrying himself, he's such a threat in the build up to a fight. He looks like a one man brawl that's going to break out. And yet his heart rate is really resting. And you can see that he's breaking down his opponents and using everything he's ever had in his life in that hard upbringing to really intimidate his foes. And I think he's really growing as a human being. Right now, I see him on a trajectory to being number one pound for pound in the world if he wins his next 4 or 5 fights. I want to see him fight Shako Stevenson. Will he get Lomachenko next? Vasyl Lomachenko potentially. I like that as a fight. It's great timing for Tank Davis right now against Lomachenko. He can even force a stoppage against him if he can be very aggressive and close the space against him. It's a great name on his resume to have as a stoppage if he can get it. I thought that was fascinating the way he handled Frank Martin last week. I really do think he damaged him mentally in the build-up. Liam Parrow, I was really impressed with at the
Yeah, what a
weekend.
win for him in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, not expected at all in Puerto Rico against Sobriel Matias. Um, again, and Chris Billum-Smith, who I've picked against several times now, props to him and Shane McGuigan for pulling that off. And you know what? Even though they're talking about Zerdo Ramirez, it wouldn't surprise me to see him take the challenge of Jaya Pataya at some point as well, CBS, because again, I'd probably still pick against him, but prepare for the unexpected, as no doubt we will on Friday night.
Definitely. Just to close off, back to heavyweight chat. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, Gareth, here. Can you just give me your top 10 heavyweights in order, please? So one
Oh,
being
right,
best.
I've got the top five because I've done it this week for William Hill, if I'm allowed to mention them. So
Yeah.
it's obviously Usyk is one, Fury two, Joshua three, Parker four, Zhili Zhang five, Daniel Dubois six, Agit Kabayel seven, Jared Anderson eight, nine, or 10. Just one sec. I'm missing two there. I'm definitely up to. I just need to can't remember all the others in my head. Just one second.
Does Joyce feature in that list?
I've got to six that I'm sure about. Yeah. So I've
What?
got Usyk, Fury, Joshua, Parker, Zhang,
Dubois.
Dubois, Kabayel, six, seven.
You said Jared Anderson at 8.
Yeah, or 9 or 10. I'm just thinking the other two.
Joyce and Bacoli, probably, or not? I guess there's Michael Hunter in there, Frank Sanchez.
Yeah, Jared Anderson at 8, Joe Joyce at 9, Martin Bacoli at 10.
Yeah, that
That's
makes
where
sense.
I'm going. That's where I'm going at the moment. But Fabio Wardley's not far off.
Yeah.
Filip Hrgovic, he's just been beaten, but it's a difficult one at the moment because he's coming off that loss. It's funny, because three events ago, you could do your top 20 easily. And it really is snakes and ladders at the moment. And I think that's a fair top 10. But you see, if Andy Ruiz looks amazing against Big Baby Miller,
And
and he does for him, I see that as a points rather than a knockout. But if he knocked out Big Baby Miller, he's there in that top 10, no question about it. Let's see how he is. He's been out a while. Um, but Sanchez has lost.
Wilder's
Madrid
lost
has
too.
lost. Zhang has lost, even though he's just won against Wilder. Um,
Piccoli and Joyce have lost, yeah, in that list.
yeah, Bacoli and Joyce.
Dubois lost.
Wilder's lost. Um,
I think everyone's lost actually, haven't they? Apart from Usyk in that list. Yeah, Parker's lost.
Jared Anderson's unbeaten.
Sorry, Jared Anderson. Yes, Anderson.
It's very interesting chat. It's very interesting chat. No, I'll tell you who's also unbeaten is
Caballero.
Agit Kabayel.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I put Agit if they wanted to do a big event in Shanghai or Beijing with Zhile Zhang, Agit Kabayel's a good opponent for that. So is Joseph Parker in a rematch, by the way. So good stuff, though. Listen, it's what's happened in the last 10 months has transformed heavyweight boxing, and hopefully we get to see it in every weight division, including Friday night when we
Absolutely.
rock and roll in East London, the spiritual home of British boxing.
Definitely on that note, Gareth, thank you very much for your time and see you on Friday night. Tune in.
Can't wait. Really delighted to be there with you.
Thanks, Gareth. Take care.